after 10 years literally of pounding the pavement in LA and having the most cliche actor life, I was waiting tables at night and auditioning all day, but I just couldn't get anywhere. And I felt like I was doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And
insanity, right?
Insanity. And I was going insane like a hamster in a cage. And at 29 years old, I woke up and was like, oh my gosh, if I keep doing this, I am going to be in the same place when I'm 40, when I'm 50. I have to change my life. And I felt like living in LA, I was kind of stuck in this mentality that you were just an actor, or, you know, you just kind of like get stuck in a box. So I decided to move to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I gave up everything here, packed up my Toyota Corolla, and went out to Albuquerque and was like, you know, maybe I'll give up acting, or maybe I'll go do something else with my life, and I've got to change. And then when I got out there, I met all these incredible independent filmmakers, and I started standing in. I was Megan Fox's stand-in on a movie. I was Kat Denning's stand-in on Thor. So I was actually on all these big sets, and I was meeting all these grip and electric guys and people who really wanted to be filmmakers. And we all got together and we were like, why don't we just start making stuff? And then we started making shorts and web series. And then we were like, let's just make a feature. So we got like 5 of us together. And my brother Andrew actually wrote that script, and we all went out to the middle of nowhere in New Mexico and shot this home invasion movie about a girl who returns home to her childhood abandoned house, and there's squatters living in it, and they don't want to leave. And we all got together. We shot this movie all in. I think the movie cost us $10,000 by the end of the day. And we really made it to prove we could make something in hopes to be able to get investment or a distribution deal. Well, I brought that movie back to Los Angeles called Home Sweet Home. And I found a sales agent, and it sold before American Film Market was over. It did so well.
Wow.
And then it got on the shelves of Walmart, and we got a major distribution by RLJ Releasing. And that jump-started my whole, I was like, oh, I can make my own movies. And that was the beginning.
That is so cool. So cool. I think it just goes to show like what you can do when you put your mind to do something.
Yeah.
Instead of kind of waiting around for someone to give you an opportunity, or waiting around for like life to happen, waiting around to get your break. It's like, no, I'm going to make my break.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it. I'm going to do something. And then you put yourself out there, and then you never know what's going to happen after that.
Yeah, and to be diligent, not to give up, because we didn't know if that movie would ever see the light of day. We kind of thought we'd show it to our parents. That was where we thought. So I'm glad that we stuck it out, because post can take a really long time, and we just didn't give up. We were like, even if nothing ever happens with the film, we promised the crew and the cast that if they volunteered and showed up, we would finish a movie. And that's a really good habit to get in, is to finish something, even if you don't know what the outcome's going to be.
It's really good. Really good. So after that, what did you do?
Yeah, so I wrote a horror movie about a girl who works overnight shifts in a haunted nursing home. And I brought that to my sales agent who had sold Home Sweet Home. And I said, what do you think about this movie being next? And maybe we could capitalize on like a package deal with Home Sweet Home. And he actually said to me, he was like, don't make another horror movie. If we go to market next year, the horror is going to be so oversaturated and it'll be harder to sell. You won't sell for a high budget. He said, you know what you should make is faith-based family movies. And I was like, what? I mean, it was not the trajectory I was on. I was raised in a minister's home. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm being called to make faith-based movies. And at first I didn't want to do it because I feel like they're cheesy and it wasn't what I was. But then I looked at the landscape of faith-based and I didn't see women being represented. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it better. And so my sales agent actually said, if you make the movie, I'll go out and get the money. And that isn't every filmmaker's dream. So that was my first foray into writing. I said, okay, I'm going to write it. And he said, you have to have football. That's a requirement. And part of my story is that the budget was so small for that movie that I gave up my apartment in Los Angeles, put everything I owned in storage, and I moved to Wisconsin with my sister, and we wrote the script together along with John Katie Graham. And I lived out of a suitcase for 1 year making that movie.
Wow.
And so talk about like giving everything up for your dreams and being like, I really hope this pays off. And then what's funny is we went to Wisconsin, we wrote the script, and we started lining up casts. We started lining up locations in Wisconsin, and I called my sales agent and I said, okay, we're ready to make the movie. We need the money. And he was like, oh my gosh, do you know how many people I've given this opportunity to, and nobody actually did it? And he was like, oh, okay, I guess I have to go find the money. Another story of like, I'm like, don't tell me to do something because I'll do it. And then you better be ready. And then, so we made Catching Faith. And it's a faith-based family football movie. It stars Bill Engvall. We got Billingville and Lorena Segura York, and we ended up shooting that in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin on an all-in $75,000 budget. And we ended up selling that to RLJ Releasing, and it went on to become the top 5 consistent selling movie for them. And it really jump-started like my whole career.
That's incredible.
Yeah.